Welcome back to live EE Times coverage of the 2011 DesignCon from the Santa Clara Convention Center. We're in a palatial room tucked up on the second floor. If you're around later today, come on by. We won't be here. We're going to be done at noon, but we're going to stream to you live for the next 3 hours in 15-minute chunks. We have a lineup of some of the brightest minds in the industry, with the exception of our next guest. We had tried to schedule Charlie Sheen in. The satellite feed is not working from the rehab center. So instead, we have DBlaza, Senior Vice President of pretty much everything at UBM Electronics, an old colleague of mine, and really the straw that stirs the drink for us. How's that for sucking up?
That's nice, Brian. Thank you. Yeah, that's
a nice
introduction.
So a little bit of background. We bought DesignCon as an event last year.
In April of 2010, yes.
To add to our fairly substantial events portfolio, which is highlighted by Embedded Systems Conference, which I think we're going to launch an Embedded Systems Conference Sudan this year or something. It's
Brazil, Brian.
Brazil.
Sao Paulo, May 24th and 25th.
Brazil. So before we get into the now, let's talk about how this is. How's this worked out? The acquisition, transition, how's the show looking now? It's
actually worked out better than our sort of wildest dreams. Attendance is up, the number of exhibitors are up. It's been a very nice fit inside of our portfolio of products, because as you know, during the year we also acquired EDN, Test and Measurement World, and Design News. So there's a nice fit there as well. That was just all those brands came together. There's a very nice synergy between DesignCon and Test and Measurement World, by the way.
Right.
So there's publications. The publication and this event fit together very nicely.
When is that? When is Test and Measurement World this year?
That's the magazine.
Oh, the magazine.
That's not the show. In actual fact, Test and Measurement World does not have an event, a live event.
That's right.
But you never know, Brian. I would watch this space.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. We're nothing if not energetic about our events.
Right.
So you have a lot of people starting to filter in today, the first day that the show floor is open. How's it going? Can you talk about numbers? Or
yes, I think we're going to be up a double-digit percentage. I mean, it's still early in the morning. I don't know until the next 3 or 4 hours until exactly who walks in the door. And in the events business, you never really know until they walk in the door. So I think we're going to be up probably a double-digit percentage. I'll leave it at that. I don't know yet. With
the exception of marketing types, for instance, who get flown in from various parts of the country, who are going to no doubt be affected by the weather. You don't anticipate much weather affecting the engineering audience, do you?
Not really. I think this event, if we looked at the data, it's very much, there's a big draw from the West Coast. California, Oregon, Washington, Nevada, Arizona. It's pretty much a West Coast event.
Right, okay. And so today we have a pretty cool lineup, which at some point we're going to flash on the screen. I'm going to talk about.
Very cool. Yeah.
But you get a lot of engineers here. You get a lot of marketers. You get a lot of press. You get a lot of support people. Who sucks up most of the food budget?
It's definitely the conference attendees. They they get through a lot of lunches. We're probably going to have to move between 700 and 800 box lunches today. So is my guess. Plus
200 of those for about 5 press guys. Probably.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of them disappear during the day.
I know. It's like their last meal. They haven't eaten in months.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did we miss yesterday in our preparation?
We had we kicked off with actually the conference session started in the morning. They start early at 9 o'clock, and we had a little handover from the company who ran DesignCon for many years, which is called the International Engineering Consortium. We purchased the event from them. John Janowiak sort of passed the baton to us on stage before the keynote, which was the CEO of Rambus yesterday.
Right.
So that was a nice transition, and I did remind some of the audience that actually this DesignCon was originally a Hewlett-Packard event. Actually, EE Times and EDN actually helped with the organisation of that first event. You may remember our old colleague Steve Whites now was publisher. He was editor-in-chief maybe of EE Times back then.
15 years ago?
Yeah.
15 years ago would be, what, 1996?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were instrumental in sort of, so there's this kind of a nice synergy, synchronicity to that. 15 years later, we were at the beginning, and 15 years later we own the event. So it's actually, it's exciting. It's also a big responsibility. This is a very, very good event. It's by engineers for engineers.
Yep.
It's got the content. If you ask people about who attend the conference session, I mean, we get thousands of attendees, but roughly somewhere between 500 and 1,000 come to the conference. It's very, very high quality, deep technical content. And it's vetted by a very large advisory board, which is made up of engineers. There's about 160 engineers on the advisory board. So it's, when we say it's, you know, for engineers by engineers, people throw that around, but in this case it really is.
Right. And
there's no BS. The content is just stellar. And that's why we have these paper awards, who submits the best papers. Then we have these design vision awards, and they're voted on by the community and always have been. So there's a session going on next door, which is in competition for one of the best papers of the year. It's packed because engineers know good content.
Yeah,
and content,
right.
No matter what happens in our world, and doesn't matter on the delivery platform, great content will always win out.
So what's Virtual Design Con?
Virtual Design Con is where we're going to put some of the content online afterwards. We did a preview of DesignCon. Actually, virtual events have become quite a significant part of our revenue stream. People do enjoy virtual events, but they don't think it replace a live face-to-face event where you can go up afterwards and ask the presenter questions and make contacts and drink some free beer at 5 o'clock and, you know, hang out with and see some new equipment and new products. But the virtual element is growing, definitely. So we will put some of the best of DesignCon on the web afterwards.
Did you put this on your Facebook profile? Oh, wait. You left Facebook.
I did leave Facebook, yes. I know this is... But I'm very, very active on LinkedIn, and I do tweet. So I'm not completely a naysayer with social media, but Facebook was just... I saw a study recently that said, why do people not participate in Facebook? The #1 reason by a mile was it's just a time sink.
Absolutely.
I'm just too busy. And I'll do LinkedIn and Twitter because LinkedIn is very much for my work life, and Twitter just helped me get, you know, like yesterday I tweeted about DesignCon, and actually it was retweeted by 15 people. So you know, I could see the network effect there. So that works, but the Facebook, plus I have 2 kids too, and it's this, you know, it was becoming, that's a whole other story.
Big brother, man.
Yeah, exactly. I know you feel strongly about this, but
So back to the event at hand. All right, so we've talked about today, we've talked about Virtual Design Con. What's the future of DesignCon, and do you see regionalizing it?
I do see regionalizing. In fact, I'm happy to announce there will be DesignCon East, co-located with Boston Embedded Systems Conference Boston in September.
Bum, ba, bum, bum. You heard it here first. Yep. Breaking news. Lepettis.
Yep. Lepettis,
wake up. Yeah. Story. Do it.
Yes. So actually, I think DesignCon has a very, very rosy future because our market shifts all the time. There are shifts taking place. Everybody was worried about this level of design was all going to go to China. But if you look at the attendees here and the complex issues they're dealing with, a lot of these products that are being built, they're never going to be built in China. The mil-aero stuff, some of the medical stuff, the high-end networking, some of the wireless networking, it's just not. There's too much investment in intellectual property, and some of the volumes are small on some of those items, and some of the items are actually quite large. You won't be shipping them to be made in Shenzhen, right, and then shipped back here. So the electronic design community is still very, very strong, and DesignCon plays into that. We're seeing growth in attendance, growth in exhibitors. I mean, it used to be seen as sort of, compared to the EDA industry, it's a little mundane, you know, the materials and signal integrity and board design. As chips get smaller and smaller and more integrated, the signal integrity and the heat issues and the material issues are just becoming exponentially harder. So DesignCon is actually more relevant than it's ever been. So that's great for the industry, and it's good for us.
Intel told us that in a very indirect way this week.
Yes, they did. That is,
Oh, well.
yes, that's a DesignCon case study one day, I think, if they'll ever release what really happened.
Yeah.
So yes, I agree that Intel, that's a major, I saw this morning, I thought it was $700 million issue, now it's $1 billion issue, I don't know, it depends who you ask.
It's growing like a boil.
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, I remember when the floating point divide issue was, I think that was a 400 million hit, and that was
oh, yeah.
almost 20 years ago.
That's true, I forgot about that one.
So I'm not going to let you go without talking about ESC, which you're launching in Brazil. You've already alluded to that.
Yes.
That's in May.
It's in, yeah, actually, Embedded Systems Conference Silicon Valley is the first week of May here at the San Jose Convention Center. I say here, we're in Santa Clara, but it's in San Jose. And then later in the third week of May, we have Embedded Systems Conference Brazil, Sao Paulo. So that market is growing like crazy, and I think it's going to be a very successul event. And
then ESC Boston with the new DesignCon.
Yeah, I think it's
Colo.
September 26th and 27th. It's around, it's a 3-day event, that third week of September in Boston, which is always the best time of the year to be in Boston. September in Boston is really beautiful.
It is. Unless you want good food.
Yeah, well, that's another story.
Whoops. Right? Sorry. My bad. So we're going to cut out, and we're going to thank David Blaza, Senior Vice President of Everything at UBM Electronics, for spending some of your busy day with us.
Thank you, Brian.
And telling us about the event. And next up, God willing, is Grant Martin, the Chief Scientist from Tensilica. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back to our live streaming coverage.